Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the Divine Brothers podcast. All right, I had to do a little movement. I'm all adjusted today because we moved around the furniture in this room, and now I'm gotta get everything sorted. How's it going, guys? What's happening in your world?
It's just fucking dandy.
Not so great over here, Dean. We have a massive, severe weather front moving through. It's going to hit tomorrow. Everyone's freaked out about it. People are comparing it to the famous 2011 event that knocked out the power to Huntsville for a solid week or more. So we're all getting
Tornadoes.
prepared for that. Yeah, probably to tornadoes and just heavy winds, stuff like that. So
I forgot about that. Huntsville's in Tornado Alley. Yeah, like
That's when you know you live in a shitty place when you got to worry about tornadoes.
I
Yeah.
remember. I remember the sirens. That was like a normal part of life growing up.
Yeah,
Like
dude, I remember tornado sirens all the time growing up. Yeah.
scary shit. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it
where you
makes
chose to
me
live, Austin.
yeah, it makes me deeply uncomfortable. Uh, luckily with modern techniques, so, it's coming. You can prepare more or less, but it's definitely a hazard. It's something to worry about. It's just like it's stressful. I'd prefer to live in a place where it didn't occur, but I think everywhere has something, right?
Well, I had a profound moment of gratitude this week. That's interesting because I heard about those storms. Like there's like a moment of hesitation out here. I'm like, it's kind of isolated. There's not a lot to do. And like worst storm in 20 years, people will die and freeze to death, and there'll be tornadoes and hail. And I was like, oh my God, the weather's the same every day here. I'm like, I'm so grateful. So fucking, I hate bad weather. Bad weather, winter. I think that's what I hate most about the mainland is that winter, man. The seasons changing can be beautiful and it can be fucking horrible. Winter is a soulless, horrible fucking time, and I hope I never have to see another winter the rest of my life.
You know, it's funny, Austin. I was talking to mom the other day, and it's our conversations are just these crazy vacillations between extreme anger and extreme happy and extreme fakeness, you
Hmm.
know. And so, like, mom calls me up because Vic had called her about. I think I was talking about sex on the podcast or something, and she's like, "You're on there talking about sucking dick. What if you try to become a lawyer one day? And what?" And she's like, "Oh, I heard Austin's on the podcast." I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." He's like, "Oh, really? Where is he now?" And I was like, "He's back like around Huntsville." Oh, he chose to go back there. Oh, and that was like she was like, "Oh, he went back there. Ugh, why would he do that? You know?"
Austin brings the civil decorum, brings you
Yeah,
back to topic,
yeah.
takes away the childish Listen, boys, let's get serious. Let's try to make a difference in the world for the better. Yeah.
I tell you what, guys, I have a question. Do you understand what's popular? Like, do you understand why the public says yes to a certain cultural phenomenon? You know, like I am becoming more and more stumped by this as I get older. You know, the other night I was got into a long conversation with somebody about movies, and they are a hardcore Fast and the Furious fan. You know those fucking the Vin Diesel, that's the only one I know. Vin Diesel's in them and stuff like that. There's 12. There's like 12 of these fucking movies. I couldn't believe it. And he was like, I love them. I watch them all the time. I've seen each one of them like 20 times. You know, Tokyo Drift and blah, 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 blah. I tried to endure one last night. I couldn't make it 10 minutes. 10 minutes, man. 10 fucking minutes. It was that bad. And yet it's been consumed by the culture. They're still making them. Do you understand what the masses love? Because I don't think I fucking get it. I don't think I could ever make something that sells. I'm not in tune. I don't know what people really like. You know, do you understand this phenomenon? What people consume in mass?
I definitely see the trends and kind of understand how they happen. Now, to catch one beforehand, no. And I'll always tell myself I'm just too smart for the people that can't keep up, but that's
What's
probably
one you get, Chase? Like one where you were like, okay, I see why everybody is sniffing this shit. You know, like what was it? You know,
this is the advantage of therapy, like the whole Black Lives Matter shit. I
Mm.
saw how people were just desperate to not be racist and desperate to be a good person and desperate to just like be. everyone needs to see me as something that's like perfect. I was like, man, this is like en masse. Everybody's
But
saying the same thing.
is that an individual desire, like I need to be seen, or is it a consensus desire of
That was
I
a
need to be on the same level as everybody else?
that was a collective shift, and now it's shifting again away from it. I see the social trends much better just because I'm forced to talk to fucking idiots all day. So yeah, yeah. Oh, I was gonna say the car movies, man. I've talked to guys that like those movies. They like it because the cars. Oh, this car. Oh, the sound of this engine. Like they can displace a shitty plot and poor character
Because of Vin
development.
Diesel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't, brother. I cannot. I can't watch that shit either. Yeah, we
Don't
should.
you remember though? Like Vin Diesel was the man for what the Chronicles of Riddick, and stuff. Remember that he had the James Bond movie, the
Triple X.
Triple X, yeah, and then they replaced him with Ice Cube, and nobody wanted to watch it.
What made Ice Cube think he could be an action hero? The arrogance
What
of
made
that.
him think he could be an actor?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. He's
yeah.
horrible.
He's
Yeah.
supposed to be out there with Eazy-E and NWA, man. How about you, Austin? Do you understand the consensus? Do you understand what's popular? What's sexy to the world?
I don't, I think broadly, like if you use like Fast and Furious as an example, like I can see like the big action, explosions, that's moderately entertaining, but I don't find it as fascinating as maybe other people like your friend did.
I just want to understand so I can sell something and make money. That's really it. I just I want to understand what the people want so that I can exploit them. That's my ultimate goal, just exploitation. That's it. Is that too much to ask?
No, I think it's a good place. I just want to avoid them. I need to get in the mindset of exploiting them. That would be healthier. Probably be more proactive if I was.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like therapy is an excellent opportunity for exploitation. Maybe you should start like a therapy cult, like where people give you donations in some capacity. You know what I
You,
mean?
you know what I noticed this week? It was my first week back, and I only had like 5 clients, but since I didn't have a lot, I could really just like dive into a session. I was fucking fresh. I was picking. They were leaving out details, all of
Oh
them.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I was just like, hey man, I'm like your fucking therapist. You can't do that. But they were leaving out very big details, and I was like, why didn't you tell me that? I had to dig. I don't like that. That
Dude, if you want to ever like the ultimate example of this on Reddit, there's this thing called not the asshole, right? Or like where people ask questions like, am I the asshole? And somebody will give this description about this situation, and it's just so obvious that the other person is at fault. Everything they write is just like, and then they did this, and then they did this, and I was just being innocent over here doing nothing. And it's just like, it's so crazy one side. I was like, can I please just get the other side? So can we get the person they're talking about to please describe the other side of the story? Just people never tell the fucking truth ever. That's what fucking the drug rehabilitation center taught me, man. Like it was the first thing Chase ever told me, Austin. Never trust an addict. Ever. Ever. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I found out, oh, they will lie to your face. They will tell you an incredible, tragic sob story. Like something that will pull on your heartstrings, and you're like, oh my God, I feel so deeply for it. Lie. Lie, lie, all of it lie, constructed the other night while they were in bed whacking off, thinking of drugs. Like that is just
Yeah.
everyone. Everyone just lies all the time.
So get this. So my favorite clients are those high masking, low needs, high functioning autistic people. Engineers with great jobs but socially awkward. Guess what their defining attribute would be?
An inability to lie.
They're mechanical. Hey, what
Ah,
happened yesterday? Here's the checklist and all they don't exaggerate. I don't have to dig. But you would understand how that would fuck you up socially if you're just unbelievably accurate with everything that you did. So they're like, yeah, I told them exactly what happened and they seemed offended. I'm like, yeah, you can't do that. You got to like make it sound a little gentler. I'm teaching them how to blend in, but I love them because I don't have to fucking play detective. I hate playing detective. People lie all the time or just exaggerate, one or the other. or don't tell you 10%, which is fucking unbelievably important 10%.
When you catch somebody in a lie, do you call them out on it?
Yeah, I'm like, you know who I am, right? You're a fucking therapist. You can't do that. Yeah. I wish I
And how
could
do they
hit him.
usually respond? Like, I'm sorry, or like,
Uh,
like
you know what they do? If it's a genuine moment, because I had one this week, I was like, why didn't you tell me? And the guy was like, I don't know. Like he's like, I don't know. I don't know why I left that out. And he truly didn't know. Austin,
we've talked about this before, but
he's got his
as a
hand up.
child, like, oh, sorry, go ahead, Austin. Yeah,
Yeah. So I've had a newfound respect for your profession, Chase. I recently signed up for Audible, and underneath my fingertips, I have all these books, and I've been listening to books about therapy lately. There's one in particular called "Tales from the Couch" by Dr. Bob Windorf, and he tells a lot of different kinds of stories. But one of my favorites was he was working at a child rehabilitation center, and this kid comes in incredibly ugly. This is in the 1960s in some Midwest town. His teeth are rotting out of his head. His mother was a prostitute that had sex with men in front of him. And the kid had no self esteem. And he was talking to the
Jesus.
therapist. And he goes, I'm ugly. I'm stupid. I can't read. And the guy was like, I can't lie. He was like, yeah, that's true. But he's like, we're going to figure out something you can be proud of. And within the wards, and maybe you guys, because you've worked in this industry before, he said, he asked the kid, like, what do you want to be good at? Like, what are we going to like build you up with? And the kid said, I want to be good at ping pong because apparently on the ward, uh, there you have ping pong tables. I guess they don't really get out very much, but you have pool and you have ping pong. And this guy, he played ping pong with this kid every day. He took him to tournaments. He took him to the ping pong store to get a new paddle. And you know what happened, dude? He built this kid up to be the best ping pong player in the ward. And you know what? The kid developed self respect. And
Wow.
yeah, he had something to be proud of. He got out there, became a professional plumber, and he just, this professional therapist, whatever he was, this doctor, pulled this kid out of the gutter using ping pong, and he knew exactly what that kid needed. And I go, God dang it, therapists really do stuff,
Yeah,
because I didn't
Chase.
really
Now,
believe it
now
either.
share your story where you pulled someone out of the gutter and taught them how to be a self-respecting individual in
Well,
society.
well,
Yeah, I
that's what
will.
I thought. That's what I
Well,
thought. I go, would Chase ever go out of his way to teach this young man how to play ping pong? Would Chase care enough, or would he just give him some antipsychotics and be
let
like,
me.
"Go chill out, kid"?
That's a beautiful story, and I'm glad you appreciate it, Slim. I'll give you two stories. Here's one: is similar. That young man had a psychotic break, and they were giving him schizophrenic medication. I start reviewing his history. He's abused, beaten daily. He fought back one day. That was the psychotic break. It's like this guy's not psychotic. He just got pushed to his limit. We got him off the meds. He was this unbelievable ukulele player. That's the little guitar they have in Hawaii. I helped him get it restrung. I paid for it. It's like $15. I got it to him. He was doing well. He got a girlfriend. The girlfriend dumped him. And then I got a call from the cops saying, hey, your clients are out here with like a machete running around saying he's going to kill people. Will you come and talk him down? I was like, no, I'm not going to go talk him down. No, I don't care. No, man, I can't do that.
$15 is the limit.
That's it. But
Yeah.
here's the other. Like I had this one chick, just poor in the country, older lady, abused her whole life. Had a nitro. She had a fucking cattle dog. I bought some furniture for her when she was trying to sell it. I go and check on her, occasionally have tea with her. Man, it was horrible, man. She died in that house alone, and you knew she was dying, and she knew she didn't want to go to the hospital. It was so depressing. Like when she died. Those two, like the kid's doing better, then he's not. Now he's psychotic again. Maybe I was wrong with the diagnosis. And then I developed a friendship with this lady, and now she's dying alone in the woods. It's just like I can't do this. I can't deal with this extreme. It cripples me. Like I don't come, but you don't come back from that. That's why I'm always cracking jokes. It's like it's too much. That's why I just want to deal with rich people. Just rich people with tell me about the dog. Tell me about the maid that's stealing. That's all I can handle now.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful stories, but they're too few far and in between, man. Like that's like one in a 50, 1 in 20. I don't know. Doesn't happen
I
anymore.
know a lot of kids who went into psychology, you know, because they take like the class in high school and go into college and take it and stuff like that. And I'm going to be a counselor. And I stay in contact with a couple students from over the years, and I've had several who've gone into it. All of them have left. All of them. They say that, and it's exactly like Chase says, the burnout is just common. Everybody feels it to some extent. And when you're really in the weeds dealing with hardcore emotional issue after hardcore emotional issue, hour on hour, day after day, if you're like an empathetic person, dude, that's going to take too much of a toll. Luckily Chase feels nothing, so he's able to endure, but
Yeah,
little Chinese girls, oof, too much, way too
that's
much.
a good point, Dean. Because I often ask myself, like, how did Chase, out of everyone I know, become a therapist? And dude, you summed it up
Oh,
perfectly, man. Because he's so like aloof and distant. He's the perfect guy to send out into the battlefield of emotions. Because it passes right through him like he's a ghost or something. It's very impressive. I really I respect the hell out of that, Chase.
You are correct. My constitution is one that can handle the burn. It just I go so numb that I just there's nothing left. That's why I have to drink on these podcasts, guys. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Chase, have you ever considered that your disassociation is a defense mechanism because you feel too deeply?
Fuck yeah, dude. Dude, sometimes I feel so much I can see their past lives. Like I had one today, I was seeing the past life. Swear to God, that sounds fucking crazy. I could see it. It was hardcore today. No drugs, no nothing in my system. I was like, oh, it's like I'm looking at a man right now, but that's a woman. Yeah.
It's
It's true,
interesting
man. Yeah.
you say that because I often feel myself. I look at somebody and I just get this very strong impression that I know like a big chunk of their life, and I wonder, and I question. I go, "Am I delusional?" Like that's a weird thing to think. I don't think that's. I would need to go ask this person if I'm correct or not.
I
That
think some people wear their souls on their sleeves,
yes.
like they radiate a presence to them. And you just, especially if you're more sensitive to that sort of thing, maybe more spiritually empathetic, you detect it. Because I've run into that phenomenon multiple times. You feel someone before you even know them. They just, especially negative, like a really nasty person who's got some fucking evil energy. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Like those people, I feel those people and I avoid them like the plague.
Yeah, I've
I
got several people. Sorry, I don't mean to step on you, Chase, but there's one person I work with. I tell people all the time. I go, "This guy's gonna kill a prostitute one day." Like I just know
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. We all
And
know those people, man.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure Chase has talked to a lot of those people.
Yeah.
I used to same boat as you, Austin. It was you have to dismiss it because it's just uh, there's no causality to it. You can't trace it. It's just like, dude, I'm feeling something. I'm in my head. I'm in my imagination. I have a picture in my head of this person in another life or in a different way, and I've always dismissed it. I didn't start giving it credence till I went to Thailand, and when I talked to some of the people in the PhD, they were 100% just like, oh yeah, I get that all the time. What do you think? Like it was accepted there. And once I lived in a society where thoughts like that were, no, that's accurate. That there's something there, you need to lean into it. Could lean into it more and give it some credence. So now I do because I talk to so many people. Sometimes it comes up, sometimes it doesn't, but I give it validity now. Yeah. But I had to get out of this fucking academic bullshit Western culture, man. Teaches you to turn everything off.
It is interesting to give it validity. Like I've been thinking, Austin had me check out this Albert Camus guy or whatever,
I read
but
one of
I
his
agree.
books. Which one is this famous one?
The Myth of Sisyphus.
No, well, he's got another
So
one. The
Yeah,
he's
he
got
wrote
Synchronicity.
lots.
a
Yeah,
novella called The Stranger.
That's the one I read, Stranger. Sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead, Dean.
But how much do you trust feelings? You know, like it's weird when I got into a big discussion this week with the partner because he's painting this gigantic painting, and I don't like it. I don't like it because it's too abstract. It's just to me, it looks like a Jackson Pollock vomit. You know what I mean? Just I don't understand it at all at a fundamental level. And there comes a moment where you really can't explain things. You can't analyze it, but you are left with a feeling. You know, do you trust that feeling where, like, you see a person, you don't know anything about them, but they're radiating a feeling? Do you trust
Mm,
it or do you dive deeper? You know,
I wouldn't call it a feelings to me is always inherently laced with emotion of some sort.
intuition.
Yeah, I would go along the lines of intuition. So it's there's a picture in my mind, I'm getting a vision, but I feel nothing about it. There's an emotion, but the emotion is from the person. It's not mine. I'm pretty good at differentiating that. So yeah, it's an intuition. I've learned to lean into the intuition more. Yes.
Mm. Yeah, so you
Yeah,
trust it. It hasn't failed you.
I'm sure it has. I'm sure I've made misreads, but that's my
Mm,
judgment, not the intuition.
mm.
yeah.
Awesome.
To
I the
to
same way.
me, like I think Chase is correct. Like I think there's a difference between feeling and intuition. I think feelings are very personal, very like egoic. It's what you prefer, and I feel like intuitions are very tend to be very objective and kind of disassociated from what you might prefer.
But
And I
what
see it
about something
as
like art? You know, like when art radiates a feeling or you have an intuition towards a piece of art, you know, you don't really understand why you're reacting to it, but you are.
yeah. To me, I think there's different interpretations of what intuition is, but I think it's a kind of a parallel processing that's happening that it's so complicated that you don't consciously know how you're doing it. So we can follow a path of reasoning relatively well, like a syllogism, and say one, two, three, four. I think what intuition is doing, I think it's probably more so your right brain processing something using a hundred or a thousand different variables simultaneously. And because it's so complicated, you don't have a purview to the process, just the outcome. You know, unlike reasoning, you can kind of watch it unfolding. But some people have bad intuitions, of course,
Yeah.
and I think that's
Well,
probably from limited life experience. I think the more life experience you
Mm.
have, the better your intuition is. I'd say, you know, Chase deals with a lot of people, so I would probably uh, trust his intuition over just some average guy dealing with people. But like a mechanic probably has excellent intuition about what might be wrong with a car. He might not even, he might just hear a sound, and he's going through 1,000 examples where he's worked on a car, and he might not even be able to explain why he thinks it's this particular item, but he's probably right. He's more likely to be right than some random person off the street. And I think this is just an example of unconscious, very complicated processing going on that the brain gives you the outcome, but it's too complicated for you to watch happen, unlike regular logic that we could kind of understand in a one, two, three fashion.
But you're still saying that it's a calculation, so to speak, where these variables are things that are being taken in by the brain rather than like a almost a spiritual out of the material, like I sense somebody's spirit or I sense the spirit of this place. It's no, it's taking in all this information and the calculations are going on underneath our consciousness. Yeah.
Well, I think some people, perhaps could have a greater intuition that expands beyond what we
Mm.
might consider the personal life. I've been listening to this audiobook called LSD and the Mind of the Universe. I think the guy's name is Christopher M. Bach, but he goes through, he's describing 72 high level LSD experiences in which he goes through a specific protocol where he's entering a state of sensory isolation. And he's a very respectable guy. He's a very logical person, putting himself in a very extraordinary circumstance. And he's also bringing in other research, like past life research and so forth. And he's talking about being able to gain access to past lives through LSD, for example, but that's not the only way. So I think what he was talking about, he re-experiencing past lives and past life trauma, which people like there's I forget his name, but there was a guy in the 60s who used LSD for psychotherapy. He wrote like LSD in the Unconscious, I believe, is one of the works he wrote. But I certainly think that information from past lives could be part of a person's current intuition. But I'd say that's probably pretty rare. Like that Christopher M. Bach guy gained access through LSD, but he didn't necessarily have it before that. And if you believe in the idea of reincarnation, we all have past lives, but not all of us have the wisdom of having many past lives. That seems to be largely blocked off from our awareness.
I want to say that who was this, a therapist? This was a scientist? This was
Uh, Christopher M. Bach, who wrote that LSD book, he was a philosophy of religion guy.
okay. I want to say shrooms, the LSD, when the most memorable trips I've had, the intuition is so fucking accurate. Like so confident. I wouldn't say accurate. I'm so confident in what I'm seeing. Oh, that's what you were in a past life. Oh my God, I was over here. This residual is from this life. It is crystal clear to me. Like it's like, God, I can do this natural. Why can't I just do this off the drug? And it stays afterwards. It makes such an impact. Like, okay, intuition is real. I have this ability on occasion. I don't know how to bring it out, but on those drugs, every single time, there's no doubts in my mind that these are accurate reads. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's weird Chase says that because, one of the things that they talked about, Austin, we had a grandmother on our mother's side who we only knew in her like failing old age, but this woman was a real socialite, like just a real people person, able to get along with anybody. She was kind of the center of this West Texas town, which I learned about later on. Chase, she was like the woman in that town, like Miss Popular, running everything in every club, everything like that. But they always said that she was the sort of woman who, you're checking out at a cash register and suddenly you're telling this woman your whole life story, that kind of person or whatever. And me and Chase talked about this, but I wonder if she had sort of a little bit of a psychic ability or an ability to really empathetically sense people to where they would trust her and open up to her and start pouring out. And I sometimes wonder if that is something that can be in the blood, you know? Like Chase, I think you do have a touch of her inside of you, The ability to spiritually sense people and they perhaps recognize that, like maybe at an unconscious level, they open up because they see you see something. Does that make sense, man?
100%. And I think
Yeah.
you've explained it perfectly. Yeah. There's an essence to you, even if it's just a drop of it. And if people feel that, the walls come down. And it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
there's something different about you. Let me tell you about myself. Yeah.
Yeah. I value those experiences. It's weird with when you got kids that you're teaching because you get a new set every year, and I stick with these kids for 3 years. So 3 years they're with me. I really get to know them, but there's always the ones that stick out to you and the ones that don't, like you're just a blur. There's nothing there. I don't know. But then there are the ones where you do sense something, There's a little girl in my 10th grade now. She's very quiet, very shy, but she writes beautifully. Like not boring history essays, like creative writing stuff, like where every time I read it, I'm transported to this whole other world that just exists in her head. Jace, I swear to God, she's fucking mom. She is mom as a little girl. Like she is just shy. She never talks to anybody, just quiet, totally inward, but she's got this whole universe inside of her. I don't talk to this girl, but I just know this from being around her and I feel this attraction to her just because there's that feeling, that intuition, you know? And there's always those kids that you run into where you have the sense. And I value that. I do. I wish I had that more. I could have that intuition with regular people all the time.
So we'll branch off from that and go to I had a it's synchronicity. So synchronicity is like, all right,
Mhm.
two events correlate, but there's no evidence to show that they should. I guess that's something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I I've been reading up on this a bit the last week or two. Dude, so I run out of weed. I'm out of weed, man. And I'm like, I gotta go I got my weed card out here. This is like a once a year thing for me. Maybe less. I don't smoke weed. My weed, it sticks around. Like, I'm gonna go buy some weed today. I looked it up and I'm in the car driving. I get a text message from our dad. He's at the weed store. Is this the weed? This is the type of weed I'm supposed to buy? I'm like, what are the odds? What are the odds? And it was a nice little conversation on weed. And then I had a phone call from a good friend, an old friend that wanted to reconnect. And then the first patient I saw today, an old friend from years ago wanted to reconnect this morning, and I'm just like, oh, that's it's beyond chance to me. It's beyond chance. I'm not too sure what to do with the information, but
Yeah.
I'm aware of it. I'm seeing it, and it's like, okay, there's a pattern here, and I'm not sure what to do with it, but at least I'm seeing it.
Dude, I had a weird moment of synchronicity this week too.
Huh.
It's even weirder.
Really?
Me
Those are
and
pretty random.
yeah, me and Wu Yin had synchronized dreams. Like,
Really?
oh yeah. So this was so like I have one of these weird moments where so it's like 3 a.m. He gets up to pee. I wake up for a second and then I go right back to sleep. And you know
Yeah.
when you have those like you go back to sleep and the dream is totally
Yes.
vivid.
Yes.
Yes, that's what happens. So I have this dream like where I get elected to Congress and I'm going into Congress, but I get stopped by the security, and the security's like, sorry, you can't come in. And then it transforms into an airport, and I'm waiting on a flight, and all these kids that I've taught over the years like come around me and stuff like that, and they're getting on the flight too. And these two little assholes, fucking Rust and Jonathan, they're little shit starters at the school. They say, Mr. Conrad, hey, and I'm like, what are you guys doing here? And like, we're getting on the plane, and then these giant Chinese people walk by me, and I'm like, who the fuck are these tall ass people? It's the Chinese national basketball team. Yeah, you know. And so they go onto the plane, but I still can't get in. And then suddenly I'm in an airplane hangar and it's just me and Wu Yin. And we start talking, and Wu Yin, like I'm saying, I asked him, I was like, is this a dream? And he starts going, like just weird nonsense noises. And I look, and there's the plane to my left, and all my kids, all the classroom kids, they're all like hanging on the plane, bound by leather like a human effigy in the style of a plane, you know? So I wake up, I immediately write all this down, and I write it down. Wu Yin comes by me, and I tell him the dream, and he's like, "Oh my God, do you know what I dreamed of last night? I dreamed of a human effigy. I dreamed that me and Poo Poo were wandering through this valley, and we stumbled upon this gigantic tower made of human corpses, you know?" And I was like, what the fuck? We're dreaming about human effigies. What's going on here? What kind of demons are we dealing with, you know? But yeah, we both dreamed of human effigies at the same time. Oh, good times, man. Yeah, good times.
Those are never, I think of that term never in a positive connotation, right? That's always kind of
Oh,
not good, right?
they in my dream, Wu Yan said his were dead, but in mine, my all the class, like all the kids were these are like 17-year-old, 18-year-olds. They were all like blinking but not making noises. They were all like alive but not moving, but in the shape of a plane, all strapped to the plane and
Cool.
stuff. Yeah.
So, Austin, enlighten us. What is synchronicity, and what are we supposed to do with all that shit, man?
Sense, please. Yes.
Yeah, I've read like two books on it. It's been a couple of years,
Really?
and yeah, what's typically associated with synchronicity is Hermes, and Hermes is among other things. He's like an intermediary between gods and men, but he's also a trickster. And what I've noticed about synchronicities is that they're very random, and they're always on the edge of being proof of something. That's how I always think about them. So I've had really enormous synchronicities. You have a dream about someone you haven't talked to in 5 years, and they contact you on Facebook, the next day, things of
Wow.
that sort. And what the counter argument is that unlikely events happen, right? So that's the counter argument of synchronicity. So synchronicity would be like things are connected in a way that you can't observe, and whether it's like psychic because the universe is essentially mental and constitution, and it would have to be for thing to allow for things like this to happen. Because one of the important like points of synchronicity is that there's a connection between the deep psyche and the physical world, right? So with Jung, it was the scarab beetle and the dream, but what was connected was what happened in their psychic lives, and it actually produced, or in some form or fashion, the physical world was connected to that, and there was a synchronicity of content, right? So you have to make a metaphysical claim about the world. Say the world is such a way that the deep psyche and matter are actually interconnected, and like because you couldn't explain it another way if you're going to say they're connected. the other explanation is that things are merely coincidental, right? So there's enough things happening that unusual events are going to correlate. You think about people many times throughout your life, and most of the time they don't call you. But when they actually do call you, it's a huge event. It's very surprising, and you're making a connection. What was the question there, Chase?
Well, to inform us on synchronicity and your knowledge about it. Did a pretty good job there, buddy.
Yeah. So yeah, I would just say like it presupposes a for Jung, he called it the psychoid level. He said there's a level in the objective psyche or the archetypal psyche at which the mind met matter, and that presupposed a like an idealistic or an idealism in which basically mind and matter were the same thing. And so, if you really believe in synchronicity, like you're automatically kind of going into the realm of metaphysics, or you could be the hard-nosed scientist and just say it's coincidence. You're adding a lot of extra meaning to things, like because unusual events happen. So that's how I understand the argument. But they call it trickster because you can never really know, and you really can't predict synchronicity. So, though I often get a feeling like if someone passes through my mind that I haven't thought about in a really long time, I'll often get the impression that it has significance, but I don't know if that's like psychological significance or physical significance, but it often happens when I have a corresponding feeling. If I have a dream and I wake up and I feel it's significant, that usually it tends to be in some form or fashion. Not that I could use that dream to predict something, but you see the connection afterwards. It might not even be that you dreamed of a particular person, but you dreamed of a place in which you have a strong memory of that person. And then later that person calls you, for example. So it's very like hard to make predictions out of these things, but ultimately, I don't know. You know me, I'm kind of agnostic on these things, though it's a fascinating subject.
That is interesting about like trickster gods and stuff like
I thought
that.
Hermes was a
Curious.
speedster. Was he the speedster or
Yeah,
the
he's
trickster?
still got the shoes, man.
Yeah,
You
he's got
know?
the shoes. He's a
Yeah.
trickster too. I thought Odin was the trickster, or that's the
Well, that's a different mythology.
yeah. I'm gonna show
But
him.
Austin, does the trickster god like even if things are a trick? I'm sorry, Camus in my mind, but the if is that essentially a god of absurdity then? You know, and in such like is the trick itself significance? You know, or perceived significance? You know, or a celebration of the absurdity? You know, do you know anything about that at all? Or
That's an interesting connection to make. I'd say there there seems to be a correspondence there if you like to open your thesaurus up and say like, yeah, these words are connected. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure. But the
hmm,
idea is that if there was a god to be like giving messages to people like Hermes, the synchronicity is the message, right? Like that
right?
is it's a hint of something beyond the mere synchronicity. It's a reference to the metaphysical to say, hey, things are actually a lot more connected than they seem to be. But I'm only going to give you hints. I'm never going to tell you directly. I'm never going to tell you fully, but I'm going to come into your life and I'm going to do these little weird things and I'm going to blow your mind. But then when you tell people about it, they're going to think you're an idiot for believing it.
That's
But it's going
it's
to
so
have,
much more interesting to believe that. You
yeah.
know? Like can I just say fuck the counter argument? Let's just say yes. Let's just believe it, you know, and
Well, I'm very much like Austin. It's very hard for me to dive one side or the other. It's just my tendency is just to stay in between. But like with the couple that I'm having, I'm gonna run with it, and I'm gonna run with what comes up. Like, all right, is there an emotion? Is there a feeling? What's the correlation? Weed. Me, the best times I have with my dad are high. When we're fucking high, making fun of people and cracking jokes. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then relationships, I'm like, okay, you got to reestablish some relationships, but are some relationships worth reestablishing? Like, I like where it takes me. I treat it like a game, I guess. Like, I'm gonna run with it. They're standing out. There's certain situations. I'm going to see if there's emotion, and I'm going to see what the information says and see where it takes me. Yeah.
but is it
Yeah.
like being struck by lightning? Like it happens or can you do things to encourage the synchronicity?
I think the openness to it makes you more aware of it. I think we miss them all the time.
Ah,
Just like, okay, it is happening. It could be in my head or it could be legit. I'm just going to pay attention, see what happens. Keep
I
note.
have
Yeah.
I have heard tale of people who've spoken of synchronicity like suddenly being everywhere, you know? Like I've read of like people who seem to like click into something where everything is syncing,
Me
you know?
too. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least they write about it that way. Yeah, there's
They
like
write about it that way. That's true. Yeah, 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 yeah. I gotta always remember that when I'm reading this shit. Probably fooling
but
myself.
I think one guy I see, he's on a we cope very similar. He's a very healthy coper. He thinks in terms of streaks. And he thinks
Hmm.
and he talks about things are syncing up. He goes, this match, or I was talking about golf, this guy, I was thinking about this guy called, I know some positive stuff's gonna start happening. Like
Yeah.
he's like, I just hop on the wave. He 100% believes it. So hard to say, man.
Yeah. Cool. Hey,
Yeah.
let's change topics real quick because I got to get Chase's opinion on one thing. Chase, what do you think of Justin Gaethje?
I think he's gonna have CTE in the future, and
Yes, there's no doubt about that. That is a
I
certainty.
think he regrets the way he fought for many years, and he's at the end of the line. Yeah.
Austin,
I
so
like
I,
I appreciate his fights. His fights were
they've
unbelievably
always been
entertaining.
good.
He's a barbarian. He's
Always.
a brawler. He's a
Yeah.
brawler. He's a
Yeah.
brawler.
So Austin, he's a UFC fighter, but this is a dude who just said, fuck it. I'm always going to go as hard as I can. I'm always going to punch as hard as I can. And he's been the champ and he's been knocked the fuck out.
He's never
You
been
know,
the champ.
has he never been the champ?
No,
Never?
no.
Oh, fuck. Oh, now I feel bad. He just happens to be in the most like insane division in the entire UFC. And I tell you what, man, I feel like Chase is right. He will have an early death or a very, very painful end, you know. But I gotta say, thank you, Justin Gaethje. Thank you for always delivering, for always making it worth figuring out how to make the UFC work in China. I appreciate that, brother. All the other fights can suck, but at least you always deliver something. Thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Justin Gaethje.
He's,
That was a
he's,
very worthy way to live life.
he
You
kind of
know,
looks like a gladiator in a way, like with the haircut, and he kind of looks like Russell Crowe a bit,
a little bit.
a little
Yeah, yeah,
bit.
yeah. He's
Yeah,
Mexican, you know, like half Mexican.
he ain't fucking Mexican. He ain't fucking
Yeah,
Mexican.
yeah,
Shit.
Mexican.
Hey,
Got the
what
fire.
about the political shit going on in the world, man? Is there anything we need to hit on, man? Because people seem to like your takes on shit, Dean. I'm not too sure what to say about anything, but
What, really?
yeah.
Oh, I'm so sick of politics. I don't have anything to say, you know? People are fucking up Teslas. That's what on swastikas on Teslas and breaking Cybertrucks and shit
It
like.
it is amazing. Whatever side you align with, people will hate you and try to destroy. He's the new Trump. Elon is the new
Oh
Trump.
yeah, yes, yeah.
It's like, all right, Trump's we couldn't kill him. Let's take his number two. Let's just go after him now. I'm like, damn, I guess people really do need someone to hate, someone to
But
like
see,
hang
that's
by the
why I
news.
asked the question about what do people love? You know, like I don't get it. Like people love to hate. I guess that's one thing that unites folks. Like we all fucking hate Trump. We all fucking hate Elon. You know, we all love fucking division. You know, but I want to understand the American mass. What motivates it? Why Black Lives Matter? Why Trump? Why fuck up Elon? Like, why are we all? I don't understand what's guiding the school of fish. What's making everyone turn? You know what I mean? It's just fucking perplexing to me.
Morality. It's like this unbelievably distorted morality, man. That's
But
based on inaccurate empathy of just, oh, I
but
need to
morality
feel.
is so individualistic. How can it be at mass?
It's for it because you're never considering yourself. You're always trying to. It's the collective guilt, which Austin hates. It's like, oh, I need to feel sorry for these people, and this man's oppressing this person, and the rich people are evil now. It's like you got to group everybody and
Good
label
guys,
them.
bad guys.
Fucking
Yeah,
horrible, man.
yeah.
Fucking insane.
So Elon is the bad guy. He's Lex Luthor. Yeah,
Who he
like
is. He always is laughing about it too. Oh, they want to kill me. I'm like, okay, that's a good way to handle it, man. I like
then
that.
who's the
Yeah.
good guy? What's the opposite?
I don't
Huh?
think we can handle a good guy. If we had a true life Batman, we would try to kill him. We would kill him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think you're right. Yeah. What a shame, man.
It's
Hey
just
Is he
Chase,
burning? Oh, go ahead.
you read "In Search of the Miraculous" by Gurdjieff, or it was actually Ouspensky that wrote the book, but it was about Gurdjieff's philosophy.
I read, if I'm honest, I read about a third. It was that book blew my mind on pages, and I had to set it down and like go sit in the corner and like it was. So I never finished it. I love that title though. It's the most amazing title I've ever fucking heard of in my life. Yeah,
What's the
Opensky.
title again? Sorry.
In Search of the Miraculous. It's Opensky and his time with Gurdjieff, the
I
mystic.
don't
Yes.
know either of those words.
Yeah. So I have like a great affinity for his. He paints a picture of man, right, as a machine.
Oh.
He says, "Quote: Man, such as we know him, the machine man, the man who cannot do, and with whom and through whom everything happens, cannot have a permanent and single eye. His eye changes as quickly as his thoughts, feelings, and moods, and he makes a profound mistake if he considering himself always one and the same person. In reality, he is always a different person, not the one he was a moment ago. Man has no permanent and unchangeable I. Every thought, mood, every desire, every satisfaction says I," unquote. I think this is people, but it's not. He also talks about people being asleep. He said this is a condition of man, that we are, just like Jung says, that we are asleep and we are automatically, unless we awaken from that sleep, we're always at the force of these collective waves of emotion that pass through people. And I'd say the main consideration, I would say, or the main problem is that everyone thinks they're awake. Everyone thinks they're a rational actor. Everyone thinks that they're making rational decisions. When the reality is, everyone is a machine man that is living in a dream-like condition, right? Thinking that they're making choices. But it's like, I think when you look at these collective movements and people really can't give a logical accounting, it seems like people are reasoning backwards, right? People have emotions first, and then they tell you why they feel a certain way. But I don't know. This is like that comes to mind. That primarily people are machine like, and
He
yeah,
had I'm trying to think of the other. He that is one of the guys I wish I could meet him in person. Just I wish I didn't have to read his books. I wish I could just hang out with him, just to absorb whatever's around him. But he had that mechanical belief, and it's like some people have souls and they will move on from this life. Others won't. Others just like it just goes into nothingness. I'm like, God, that makes a lot of sense to me. That not everybody transcends to the next life. I've always had that kind of vibe. But yeah, I can't remember all the details, but he believed that.
yeah. Well, he said that was the work of a lifetime, was to unify the psyche, and this is what Jung talks about as well. And a psyche ununified, like he said, things just happen to you, and it's like the collective forces move through you, and that's why these things are so contagious, because you're not dealing with individuals really, you're dealing with appendages of the collective psyche, whatever that might be. And like Jung said in man, I think, what was that thing? The Undiscovered Self. He said individuality and freedom of will arises from contact with that inner kernel of self that that connects with God, that is spiritual. And without that, and we know that the collective lacks that, you have nothing but an appendage of the collective. And this is why you get mass weirdness that really has no explanation. Why does everyone hate Elon? Because everyone else does. There's
So
a social contagion happening.
if there's the need to reach that internal divine kernel, yeah, what a nice little rhyme there. Yeah. And that can't be met. Does that mean that the urge is still there but without direction? The urge to reach out and seize something.
Yeah. So in Ken Wilber's book, Up from Eden, he has this term called immortality projects, and he says ultimately we're, because of the constitution of who we are and what the universe is, we're all fragments of God, verging towards reunification with ourselves, because we go through this long process of alienation and reunification, that we all have this idea and we have this fundamental desire to become God again, but we don't really know how to do that. So what we do is we have these secondary projects that stand in place of this, right? Like instead of becoming God, we do things that kind of satisfy the urge, which is through like intoxication or becoming unified with the collective and losing ourselves in that kind of fashion. But it's obviously like a fake, or like it's a substitute is the word he uses. It's a substitute unity that actually brings us farther away from unity in the end. But uh, that's one interpretation of what people are doing. And I don't know if that's the case. I think it's a fascinating interpretation of why
I
people are
think a
doing
good
what they're
interpretation.
doing. Yeah,
I
but
think that
I'd
explains
say,
the entire world perfectly. Well done, Austin. Perfectly
yeah.
said.
Well, I think Jung's idea that you have this thing called the self, and it's trying to collect to unify the psyche. And I think that's a much more palatable thing for the modern man to say. There's not like this universal impulse exactly that's coming from a god, but there's some archetype in the collective, in the objective psyche, or whatever you want to call it, that
Mm.
is trying to unify the self and is actually the source of numinous experience. People call it God, but it's really this archetypal energy within the psyche itself that you can contact with. And I think that's really what Jung is talking about when he's talking about spiritual experience. He isn't necessarily talking about a God. He's just talking about a very profound psychic energy that
Yeah.
revitalizes and unifies the psyche and makes a person a real person as opposed to a machine, like Gurdjieff had talked about.
The Gurdjieff's got a book. It's called, they got these great names, In Search of the Miraculous. There's another one that I have. I've only read the first chapter. It's Meetings with Remarkable Men. And Gurdjieff is true. I'm not an academic. He might be number one as far as some of the great minds that I've come across and just dabbled in some of his work. His first chapter in that book, and it might be a good one for the book club because it's just each chapter is about a person in his life and his dog. His dog has a chapter. The first one's about his father. And this intellectual juggernaut, this father was an orator. He told these fantastic stories, myths from like thousands of years ago, and like people would be captivated. He talked so highly of his father. Like this man made such uh, uh, like an impactful mark for the better on his life. Subtly, he says this, but it's like you could see that the parenting led to the greatness. He does it very subtly. It was like this father created this unbelievable mind. It was quite a beautiful little chapter. And I imagine the next four, one of them's about his dog, one of them's about a tutor. I imagine they're just as good. Um, it'd be a good book for the book club. Just saying. I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, they actually made a movie about it. I haven't seen the movie.
Really? There's the Meetings with Remarkable Men. There's a movie.
Yeah,
Really? No shit.
yeah.
Okay. That'd be cool.
Dean, put us back on. I feel like I just.
Yeah, man.
I,
Where did you take it to the deep
I
end?
hope I'm
Let's
making sense, dude. Sometimes I just you catch me after work, and sometimes I reach the end of my sentence. I'm like, oh god, like
Dean, take us
what
back
have
to
I
the
gone here?
puddles in the rainstorm. We need to go to the shallow end. What's going on, man? We need something just trivial and just
The only
something.
thing I wish I had more cool stuff to say, guys, but the truth is that like my conversations this week have been like all about like movies and shit. There's one guy at work who I've developed a working friendship with, meaning we can have one conversation every day and it's just about movies. Why? He's the film teacher. You know what I mean? And the thing I love about this guy is every movie I love, he hates, and every movie he loves, I hate. You know, it's perfect opposites, you know?
Oh,
Like, and so, like, I really appreciate he gives his horseshit opinions, you know, but he really believes the horseshit, you know? And like, it's not somebody who's just like, oh, no, it's just cool. Like, they really give their answers. And so he loves those Fast and Furious movies. I think they're garbage, you know? Like,
they are. They are. Feel
yeah,
justified.
you know,
Yes.
we were talking about The Lighthouse the other week. I was like, I think it's a masterpiece. He's like, I think it's boring garbage, you know, and all that, and just this back and forth and back and forth. And I really love like art as a point of contact with people, you know, like what'd you think? What'd you think? You know, and then celebrating the disagreements and talking about how, you know, you are an idiot for how you think, for how you look at this sort of thing. It's fun, you know, it's a point of contact to socialize. And the fact is, I just don't got too much socialization. Everything's work related, you know. There's so few bullshit conversations. Movies are a go-to, and I really appreciate that, man. Just talking bullshit about movies, it's been great.
Shooting the shit. I'm always fascinated with hesitancy or unrelenting, just like diving in, like, let me give you my opinion on this, or,
Yeah.
oh, well, what did you think? Like they want to hear what you said first so they can fucking agree with you, you know? So I always find that interesting. And I always try to make the other person go first and then just kind of fuck with them a little bit. Like, I kind of liked it. Maybe I
I
didn't.
find disagreement way more
Yeah,
interesting.
disagreement is kind of
Way
fun.
more
Yeah, it
interesting. You
is.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, kind
There
of.
was a guy this week, you'd have been proud of this because this was a Chase sort of moment where I've really been trying to be more social. You know what I mean? And this guy, he's like hardcore vegetarian and stuff, but I'm friends with him and all that, and I know his wife and all that. And I was like, hey, let's all meet have dinner, you know. And I did it once a few months ago, and I was like, it's your fucking time. You got to do it now, and you do it all veggie, whatever.
Like
Let's try
cook
it
at
out.
your house dinner? Like that
Yeah,
type of. Okay.
yeah. Like he
Okay.
came over, we just hung out. It was real chill, like not a fucking Martha Stewart sort of thing, just like
Okay.
having me chill with poo poo and all that. But anyways, I put this on him like a month ago, you know, and I sent him a text like, hey, you still doing this? He didn't respond. So I see him in the office the other day. And I was like, I looked at him, I was like, he didn't text me back. Our friendship was here. Now it's down here.
Yes.
What you're fucking up, man. And he was, oh my God, I'm so fucking sorry. Oh, geez, and he was just, I was like, nah, I'm fucking with you, man. But he was like, no, no, really, I just don't know how to respond. Thank you for putting the pressure on me and blah, 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 you know. But it was one of those moments where a little disagreement actually made the conversation better. It made it a little bit more fun, a little more humorous, and a little more engaged, which I appreciated.
Synchronicity moment here. I'm talking. I get a text from our cousin, a female cousin, and we're sharing songs. And she's like, "Why do
I
you
bet
like?"
you hate her music.
I
Yeah.
do, I do, and she hates mine. To be fair, and and she's like, "Why do you like this?" I was like, "It evokes emotion in me. It gets me running." And she was like, What does it evoke?" And I was like, I don't know." Like it made me think. I was like, "I've never thought about it. I just know this is a go-to." And I sat down and I thought for 10, 15 minutes. I put in two paragraph answer, like a real answer. She didn't read it for almost 3 days. And when she read it, it was like smiley face. Oh, it's like one sentence reply. I was pissed. And she sent me a text yesterday. I didn't respond all day. And I talked. She called me today, and I was like, "Hey, you know what? I know I fucked up, didn't I?" Go, "You fucked up." Like at least she knew. I was like, "Don't you ever ask me a good question and get a real answer, and then don't respond for three." And
How
she's like,
dare
"I
you
am
not? How
sorry.
dare you?
I fucked that." But she's like, "I fucked up. I was in the wrong." I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I'm not so mad anymore." But yeah, dude, I called him out too. Synchronicity, man. Synchronicity. What does it mean?
And it
Millions are
helped.
around the corner. Yes,
It helped the relationship, you know?
it
Like
did.
having a little thing like that,
It
it
did.
helps.
It helped the
Austin,
Dean
are you
does
a
the
music
opposite.
man at all? Do you listen to music at all?
I do. I listen to depressing music, but I want
Where
to talk
does your
about
mind go with the depressing music?
gay, depressing music. What's that one?
no.
Gay and depressing? Oh my God, that's a
Uh,
terrible conversation.
I
I'm
want to talk
just.
about Dean asking me what I think of Camus and meaning over text. And I'm like, oh, you don't want the answer to that, buddy. You don't want the answer.
Oh yeah, that'll get really deep if
Camus
we.
is the guy that believes it's all meaningless, right? It's all trivial. You can murder somebody. It's not a big deal, right? Yeah.
But
No,
no,
yeah.
but dude, no, it's not. It had a logic that clicked. I was shocked how well it clicked. You know, it clicked so well that I literally texted Austin, "Thank you." I was like, "Thank you for sharing this book." I left the book feeling strangely peaceful. You know, not a book, an essay. You know, but it was like comforting to read. It was like a surrender sort of thing, you know,
Well,
almost Taoist in a lot of ways, you know, but it was just a different way up the same mountain, I guess.
Austin, you got this urge to you to always like go unbelievably deep, like with like, I want to know the meaning of this philosopher. Like, why is that, man? Is there not a propensity to stay in the shallow end, or are you just in desperate need of any type of intellectual stimulation being?
I, I can't do it. So I got a persona that I can put on. I can put on a persona for about 5 minutes, and dude, it drains me. I like it mentally
Wait,
destroys me.
Austin, you're waiting tables, right?
No, I'm in the back
He's a
Oh,
cook.
you're in the back.
with
So,
the
dude,
weirdos.
that is totally where the weirdos are. Yeah, I can speak
Yeah.
from. I waited tables for years, like high school, college, waiting tables and stuff like that. And I had my waiter persona, and it was fucking horrible. I was taught. This was a conversation with mom the other day. She should come back and wait tables. You could do it at a fancy restaurant. I was like, do you know how quickly suicide would become an option? Like
Immediately.
one
Immediately.
day. It would be immediate. I swore I would never wait tables again, but Austin, I had the waiter persona. Like, and I had it down, man. And you know what? This is another example of consensus. People didn't want genuine. People didn't want honesty. They wanted the fake bullshit. And I would come up there and with this exact voice, I would say like, "Hey guys, my name's Dean. Dean from Dallas. If it helps you remember, what can I get you to start with today? You know?" And they'd be like, "Hi, how you doing? Good to see you, Dean. What can I do for you?"
Oh my God.
Wow, that was
You know what
actually
I'd say?
impressive. I
20
like
to
that.
25% tip every fucking time, man. It's what you had to do. You put on the mask, you do the song and dance, and you get the money.
You did
That's
that to
how
me in
America
Austin, we
works.
would say we want a new fucking waiter right now.
Yeah.
Never
Well,
talk to us
first of
again.
all, you guys don't fucking eat. You're fucking poor. All right.
That's
Second
fair.
of
That's
all,
fair.
all right, these people want a family friendly experience, and I provided it to them. Okay.
No,
I
that's
hated it.
Dean.
It was
Uh,
awful, but I had to do
That's
it.
the machine
Well,
talking to the machine,
It's a
man.
machine.
You gotta.
yes.
It's
Wait.
fake, dude. Fakery.
Well, no,
You
Dean's
only got 5 minutes, Austin. That's all you can fucking
wait,
do.
wait, wait,
Five
wait, Dean, Dean,
minutes
Dean.
a
Your
day,
your
what?
baseline is you would prefer to be on stage. Like that is
Oh, sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Like to me in Austin, that's like our nightmare. For you, it's just like, please put me on. I will perform better
It's
than
better
anything.
than real life.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you rather just start at the opera? Why not make it a melodrama? At least it's more entertaining than being bored out of your mind all the time.
I don't have the energy for it. If you gave me like a line of cocaine or some Adderall, I could do it. But like I don't I'm not uppity enough to get off on that shit. It would wear me out too quick.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm
Now
with you.
you have a impressive way about you, Dean. You can like put on this energy that I haven't seen. Like Chase, Chase. Not to say he has low energy, but you can go like you go a step above into like the supernatural. You're really like up and down. It's quite impressive. I think you should have been an actor or something of that sort.
Preacher.
You mean Chase?
No,
No, you,
you.
Dean.
Oh,
You.
me. I was like, Chase and act. How dare you say that? Jesus Christ. I was genuinely insulted that you said that. I was like, you
Dean.
directed that to
I
him.
was insulted too if he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dean should be on. You should be on the stage, man. I don't like maybe teaching is a good gig for you because you're in front of people.
It
But
is a stage. That's what it is. But yeah, I you have to be super handsome, like super handsome. I've got the voice. So maybe if like I didn't show my face, I could do it, like voice acting sort of thing. But yeah, other than that, I'm just more fascinated by 5 minutes only, Austin. Like if you're forced to interact, like let's say you go to a social gathering, you know, like where maybe you're forced to interact with family or friends or something. 5 minutes of just, hey,
He,
how you doing?
I
Hey,
think
nice to see you, man.
I think
That's
five
it.
minutes for Austin is being very gracious. I think it's more along the lines of like two, maybe two and a half,
Dean,
something like that.
guys, I had like this is like this is real. I have to force myself to not ask questions like, "Hey, man, do you think life has any meaning?" I really have to force myself not to ask people questions like that.
Oh my God.
Like,
Dude, like, okay, so let's say the Iron Bowl's happening. Bama versus Auburn, right? AKA there's a million fucking parties to go to, and you're probably gonna be forced to go to one, right? Can you go and hang out and just like enjoy the game? Grab a beer. How you doing, man? What's happening?
absolutely not.
Damn.
I find myself among. I think I've said this before. You put me into a party or like a social setting where everyone's watching a football game and like having fun and cheering, dude. I'm an alien, dude. Like I'm like you dropped me off a spaceship because I don't know what the heck is happening here. I sometimes I get so depressed. I go outside. I go, oh my god, like there's something wrong with me, dude. Like, cause I can't identify what's happening at all. Like, I'd rather go out and
Austin,
be
I
by
think like
myself in the
your
backyard.
past life was like a monk that somehow went terribly corrupt, and now you're paying for your sins by being put in Huntsville, Alabama, with
Dude,
his
Dean,
family and his
God.
friends. Like
dude,
something like that. Something happened, man.
when
There's
I
got to be some synchronicity.
was soaking in the tub in Canada, going through withdrawal, I used to think like, what did I do to deserve this? I'm soaking in in this dirty bathwater, going through horrible withdrawal, and I just no, that's really a question I ask myself constantly. I was like, dude, what the fuck did I do? I killed somebody in a past life. I was a killer.
I'm
because
telling you, it
holy
was a
shit.
monk who went bad. Something really bad
Now
happened. Like
I
you were
want
living
I
a
want
spiritual journey and something got fucked
I
up.
want you
And
guys to imagine this. Now imagine Chase and he gets a client and he's sitting in the bathtub in therapy session. It's just like, look, I'm about ready to kill myself. I can't take it anymore. I did something horrible. I've had that conversation weekly for years, and there's nothing you can say. You can't say anything to those people. What do you say to those people? Just like, hey, you're probably right. Probably was something really fucking terrible, man. And you just kind of laugh about it. That's all you can do, man.
yeah,
It's heavy.
Yeah, but
yeah.
you go, yeah, dude, your life is complete shit. But how do you feel about ping pong?
That's right.
But
And
but
then
but
Builds you right
Austin,
back up.
serious question though, right? In the same
goddamn
way
right.
that meditation is a skill, right? Or like working out is a skill. Like it's something you practice, you refine, and it gets better in time. Could you do the same with social skills? You know, like the bullshit. Just learning how to be like, hey man, what's going on? Yeah, yeah, you like the man, fuck Auburn, you know, yeah, you know, that sort of shit. The Alabama song and dance.
He
Can you
sees
do?
it as trivial, right? Trivial. Just
But it's still a skill. It's still
Dean,
a
you're
skill that
describing
has.
a psychopath. That's how I feel it. Look, man, if I come up to you and ask you like how your football team is doing, I'm lying to your face, dude. I don't give a shit what you say, and I have no. I'm not gonna argue. Like, oh yeah, yeah, Alabama's better. Like, I don't give a shit. So I'd be no. I feel like that's. I don't like lying, and I
All
feel like
right.
that's be profoundly dishonest. If I talk to you about football, it would be psychopathically surface level. Like there's nothing beyond the words. I feel nothing.
Well, I think me and Dean would counter with I like probing, and then if I can get a rise or fuck with people a little bit, at least it makes things entertaining for a while. You know, it's just like, all right,
Yeah.
he's
And
getting a little
I'd
upset.
respond with fucking Camus, man. It's all absurd.
Yeah.
It's all fucking absurd. Just play along with it. You know what I mean? Like, just like,
Oh no.
so yeah, it's all theater, right? But the theater's fun. You know, like if I meet somebody who's football, I'm suddenly a Cowboys fan. I don't give a fuck about the Cowboys. I don't watch NFL and stuff, but everyone loves to hate the Cowboys. Everyone, you know? And so all starts saying, fucking Cowboys, man. Like, fuck the Cowboys. I was like, what you talking about, man? We're the best ever. Aikman, Irvin. Hey, and then you start going and you're in a whole thing, you know? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I love the theater of it all. Isn't that better than just sitting there awkwardly? You know, or
No, Dean, I don't like it.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because I look, man, it really is profoundly like contrary to my character, and I derive no pleasure. So you're talking about like playing a game that I feel no joy playing, So that's how I would say. Like I'm not going to put the effort in because there's no output that's worthwhile for me. Uh, though I have learned, especially in like social situations where I'm around people, especially I don't really know very well. I've only learned to curtail my weird predilections, like because I read weird stuff.
Yeah.
Read weird literature. I have a lot of weird experiences, like the addiction, the out of body travel stuff,
Yeah.
meditation,
I
reading
imagine
about
your conversations
spirituality.
going like, "Hey, how are you? Have you heard of Schopenhauer?" Yeah, like that's the opening line that he
Oh, good
starts.
old Schopenhauer.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
Schopenhauer's brother.
Excuse me, sorry. It's Camus and Schopenhauer and Hegel and all the famous people, you know, all the ones
No,
we all know in Alabama.
yeah, that was me before I learned not what to say because I would say stuff like that. I was
So you've
like,
just learned what not to say, not what to say.
that's a good way to put it for sure.
Yeah.
Because I would
Okay.
ask people about, you know, like what do what do you think the meaning of life is, or I would
But isn't
start
this how
talking
you
about
become the
religion.
creepy guy in the corner who says nothing?
Oh, that's
Like
me, man. That's
Like,
me.
hey, why is he here? Who invited him? The guy's not
Yeah,
saying anything. He's just sitting there awkwardly in the corner, not watching the game. You know, not
yeah, dude.
drinking a beer.
Dean, you're hurting my feelings. You're
I'm
talking about
sorry,
me,
dude. I
dude. You're
want to
not
help
talking.
you. That's my thing. I want to help. Like I think it's important. I think it is a skill that
Well,
should be honed for the sake of living life at an effective level.
it's
You
not a
know,
party without some dude in the corner that you can go and talk to about fucking anything. Like that's a real party. It's like, all right, I'm
oh,
sick of this trivial shit.
do
I'm gonna go
people
to the
come to you,
corner.
Austin? Do they come to you seeking like they're like, okay, this is the one. I need to talk to him.
Probably.
Yeah, sure. So what I've learned to I put a little breadcrumb out there, and I'm like, yeah, but like, what are you up to? Like, I'm doing this and this. I was reading, I was reading Nietzsche the other day, and I did that and that, and that's all you do, man. You don't say anything
Crumb.
else.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
just say something like that, and
Go fishing.
if they bite, then you can talk about it. But if they don't bite, you don't talk about it because then you're weird. Then you're
What if
forcing things on
somebody
people.
assaults you with the bullshit? You know, like, hey, Austin, how's it going, man? What you doing around here? Who? You know, like they're there attached to you and they're forcing you to interact. Can you do that?
A little bit. Like the other day at work, someone tried to put something like that on me, and I slowly turned around and looked at the wall. And
Escaped.
I didn't like this. I really didn't like this person. I was like, I'm not doing this. I was at the end of my rope, dude. Like I can put out a little bit of energy to like, because I like, I don't want to make people feel bad, but if I don't like you, then I'm gonna give you my true self, and that's me looking at a wall, me preferring to look at a wall than talk to you.
Where is the compassion? Where is the compassion for your fellow man? That's all I can say, Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you run out.
Fuck yeah, you do, man. I ran out a long time ago. I don't even know what that word means.
Kindred spirits,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Now, after a good nap or give me a solid 8 hours and it comes back. But
so I find Austin, you're not a big workout guy. You've never fucking bought into that. Dean tries. I don't know, Dean. Do you have a workout routine that you stick with?
I do, but recently I fucked up my lower back with
Dude,
the deadlift. So.
Have you ever heard this guy, Mike Mincer?
Yeah.
He's from like the
Bald
90s.
guy. Jewish.
No. He's not bald.
Oh, never
He's
mind.
got a mustache. He was second in Mr. Olympia. He's
never mind.
I've been it's like all you got to do is work out once every 3 days. That's it. And the workout will take you 15, 20 minutes.
Bullshit.
That's it. I've been doing it for 3 weeks now. I've lost weight and I'm getting in shape. You know what you do? You know how many sets you do with each exercise? You do 3 or 4 exercises. How many sets you think?
Well, if you're talking 15 minutes, one.
1 set.
Yeah.
You do 1 set as heavy as possible and as slow as possible, and you're out. And you're done. And he's like, the trick is your body needs 2 to 3 days to recover. You go unbelievably heavy. You do 1, maybe at the most 2 sets, and then you leave. That's it. It's working.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been doing this wrong, Austin. When you get into working out, you do it every day. You run, you swim, you fucking live. And this guy's just like, yeah, it's all fucking bullshit. You just do it once every 3 days. You do it for 15, 20. I'm like, yes, this makes so much more sense.
Send me the info. Send me a link or whatever.
Dude, it's the lazy man's way of getting jacked, and it's fucking working.
Because like I said, I fucked up my lower back, and I can't do anything. It's been 10 days, no working out. And my weight has gone down. Like, I'm shocked. Like, I was working out hard, like fighting for every kilo to go down, like 2 months, hardcore diet, hardcore working out. I lost like 8 kilos. And then I stopped all of it except for the diet, keeping up the diet. Been doing nothing for all this time. And the weight has been going down faster than it was when I was working out.
Yeah.
I don't understand it because I step on the scale every fucking morning, but I think that number one, I've been ignoring recovery, and number two, maybe I'm fucking doing it wrong, so I'm totally open to a new system. Send me the video. I'll take a listen.
I hate lifting weights. Fucking hate it. Like I've just learned. This guy's like, yeah, just go. Every 3 days, do it for 15 minutes and leave. I'm like, I can do that. I can fucking do that. Yeah, you can do walk or you can run 2 miles on occasion, whatever. Like he's like, yeah, whatever. The fact that you go unbelievably heavy for 1 set, it exhausts the muscle and it sets it into recovery mode, and your body just starts taking all the nutrients to heal, and you're just in heal mode. And when it heals up a little bigger. You're going for mass. So it's putting on muscle and it's burning fat with very little effort, and it's fucking working.
So
Sounds insane.
Lightweight, high rep.
Nope, nothing. 1 set.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just some contrary wisdom.
1 heavy fucking killer set, and that's it. You're done.
Okay. I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. Once I recover,
I wanted to tell you about it. Austin.
Yeah,
you know
I
what?
want to try it.
We want to get you. Yeah, that's easy, right? 1 fucking set. Anybody can do that.
You know what, Austin? You should totally get jacked.
Yes.
Yeah. Do it. I don't really know what you look like, but you look like a skinny man. Is that a fair assessment? Yeah.
Looks like a
Yeah,
philosopher in the corner at a
skinny
party.
fat, I would say. Skinny
Skinny
fat.
fat. Oh man, see that's no
Yeah.
bueno. You gotta like see at least I'm muscle fat. At least I got that going for me, you know. But the yeah, you should totally do some. I don't know, like hang up some. Remember the guy taught you the rings chase? You should get some rings, Austin. Hang them on a tree outside. Do some
Mm.
ring chase.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
the cheap way to do it. Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah, the one set, I'll send you the thing too. Yeah, this guy's making a lot of sense to me. I like him. He's smart. He's, yeah.
yeah. Oh, by the way, guess what I'm doing tomorrow? I'm doing the fucking China needles. I'm getting the needles in my back. I've never done it before. I was like, I'm gonna fucking try it, you
Well,
know.
what's the proper term for that? That's what is it?
Acupuncture.
Yeah, acupuncture, right. Yeah.
Never done it before. Somehow I missed that in all my China
I
experiences, but
hope
I'm
it's
going
an old man in like a dirty alley. That's what I
dude. I had to. This is not a massage. This is at the Chinese medicine
Yeah,
hospital. It
this is
seems like
serious
they do.
shit, right? This is where they
Oh, they don't
invented this
fuck
stuff.
around. Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's whole hospitals. There's no Western medicine at all.
That's
Like
cool,
no
man.
Western. It's all herbs and shit. Like you walk in and there's this crazy smell, like the just weird plant smells. You know what I mean? And they literally get the Morton pedestal out and they're chick 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 and give you the prescription for whatever you're supposed to get. But I'm going there tomorrow because my back, man. I did a deadlift. It's still sore. Like still, it's 10 days later, still fucking sore. Like
Mm,
standing and
mm.
walking makes it sore. So I'm just desperate to try anything. And I said, fuck it, I'm going to the Chinese
Those
hospital.
Chinese are ahead of the curve in a lot of ways, man. Yeah.
Maybe. I'll let you know how it goes. But I'm uh I'm desperate. I want to try something.
What to talk about? It's related to exercise, but do you guys take supplements at all, or do you? Is there anything in your diet that you really point to and say like this is really special? I got two, maybe three things for you. Matcha green tea, incredibly powerful antioxidant, contains caffeine, contains L-theanine, which is relaxing, so it produces a great synergy. And it's a really potent anti-inflammatory because of all the antioxidants. It's a great mood enhancer. Like from all of years of depression and all the things that I've tried, like really good matcha and green tea in general, like is incredibly effective, and it's also incredibly safe as well. As far as I know, there's not a lot of downsides from green tea. So I'd be curious what you guys think about that. But also krill oil and omega threes. And I noticed that when I take omega-3 supplements, krill oil specifically, that I never get below a certain point in my depression.
Hmm.
Like it always keeps me more or less even. So I would like highly recommend to basically everyone that can tolerate these things reasonably well, green tea, specifically matcha, and omega-3s, either daily or like every other day. I don't
See,
what.
this is real. Austin is giving us some sponsorship opportunities. All right.
Yeah.
Krill makers, they're coming right now. They're hearing about this on the pod. I like it.
Well, he's taking medication to alleviate the low mood. I take one pill. It's a supplement. It's lemon balm, and the only reason I take it is because this
Lemon
hot
balm.
Asian chick says this is the natural Ozempic, and it's better. And you take this with a meal, and you'll get fucking thinner. I was like, okay,
Huh.
she's a hot doctor, and I don't want to be fat. So
Yeah, hotness is enough to sell a product.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to be
Yeah.
fat. She's hot, and she's Asian, which means she's really smart, and I'm just gonna listen to her and not research it at all. Yeah.
You let me know how to limit because maybe the diet, maybe that's part of the reason too. You know, it's not just the working out. Could be the lemon balm, man.
It
Who
could
knows?
be. Could be.
For me, I'll only say two things too. For the past year I've taken a vitamin C supplement. I know, super basic shit, but I
Yeah.
work with kids and they're fucking diseased.
Yeah,
Like
they're
getting sick has been a normal part of my life, especially with all the COVID shit and the bad air quality in Beijing and stuff. Taking the vitamin C every day. I haven't been sick for a year. Amazingly. That's shocking to me. And I really do think it made a fucking difference. As simple as that sounds. The only other thing is fish. And I guess this goes with the krill oil and the omega 3s, man. I found the great fish source. It just ships to you directly from Shanghai. But I get halibut and salmon, just massive amounts of frozen fish. Probably eat fish like, Jesus, 4 or 5 times a week, you know? And I'm convinced every time I eat that, I just feel satisfied and light, you know? Like eat
Yep.
beef, chicken, Anything else, you feel like, damn, I got to digest a little bit. Not with fish. The fish, I'm convinced, has been the secret ingredient to at least attempting to lose weight. That's it. That's all I
Yeah.
got.
I will say this, Dean. Be careful eating fish that are high on the food chain because mercury tends to accumulate in predators. So you find things at the very, very top, like sharks and dolphins, have a lot of mercury, and whales tend to have a
I
lot
gotta
of
get
mercury
tested
in
for
their
that shit.
meat.
See how much mercury's in me blood.
Yeah, they say like you want low things. Krill is about as low in the ecosystem as you can go. But you have things like sardines, really small fish that tend to
Sure.
be preyed upon by other fish. But yeah,
Cool.
I just don't want
I
to get
feel like we
fat.
helped people.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It was an interesting podcast today. It was a little bit of deep stuff and shallow stuff and fish. Yeah.
yeah.
I
Well,
like it.
I agree with you on the vitamin C, Dean. I take vitamin C every day now, uh, for a lot of different reasons. But I haven't been sick since I've started taking it, and I got some. I went to get all the blood work done. They said I was really low on vitamin D, so I've been taking that as well. So that's something to check out. I was like significantly low, but I wasn't surprised because I never get out to the sun. I didn't supplement
Do you eat
with vitamin
vegetables?
D. Not as much as I should,
Yeah.
but
See, like in China, it's crazy how different the diet is between China and America. Just in America, there's just not vegetables. People just they're not part of meals. You know what I mean? Like having a slice of tomato on a hamburger is your vegetable. You know, but
yeah,
here, like green vegetables, like all kinds of weird ass vegetables you've never seen before. It's every meal. It's absolutely essential. Like that. And I'm convinced that that's where all my vitamins come from.
hmm,
That if you just have the vegetables, the D, the E, the B, the B12, whatever, it all gets there. Even the shit from the sun. I'm gonna maybe the
yeah,
vegetables got that shit too, you know?
That is the one of the huge factors that I like about out here. I go, they have a weekend
Yeah, you
market.
got it.
It's like the biggest one on the island. It's right up the road. It's every Sunday. I spend anywhere from like 40 to 50 bucks. That's what I eat. 90% of my food is from there. Vegetables, fruit, get a little Thai food, but it's like it's fucking healthy, man. It's that's how you're supposed to eat.
do you guys ingest caffeine? I know we're kind of going towards the end,
I
but do you
do.
guys
I
drink
have I
coffee and
have
stuff?
coffee once in the morning. I do. But
Okay,
I do it because I have to work. If I didn't have to work, I wouldn't drink. I'd go with
If
tea.
okay,
I do it
if
to give
I
me a
need
little
it,
pep. That's it.
if I need it, I'll have a black coffee. But that's only if I need it. Like I got a fucking busy ass day and I gotta do it. Otherwise it's tea. Red tea
Yeah.
for me. Because
Austin,
that's
if
a
I
Chinese.
had millions, yeah, I'd just drink green matcha tea every morning. That's what I'd fucking do. Yeah.
Matcha
yeah.
can be good. I've had the good ones and the bad ones, you know?
I'd like you guys to try it and just see what, because I want to know if it has the same effect. Buy a high quality matcha from Japan. Make sure it's organic. Make sure it's been tested for heavy metals. And I would just like really love to hear your opinion because I like without doubt it's been one of the most effective antidepressants I've ever used, and I've
So
tried a lot of different things. So
it's interesting. Matcha is like a hot point of contention for Chinese people. So all green tea comes from Fudan province, right? Like it's just the natural place. And matcha was Chinese. It was a Tang Dynasty thing. But like everything, the Japanese copied it and made it better, you know? So in China, it's kind of considered faux pas to eat like matcha because they're like, we fucking pro Japanese bullshit. You know what I mean? But I tried the Chinese version of matcha and it sucked ass. It was not good. Like the taste was not it didn't have that earthy taste. Do you know what I mean, Austin? Like the
yeah,
real like it tasted artificial. Like they had
Hey,
tried to make it a little sweeter and something.
when we
I'm
make
like,
our millions from this podcast, let's fucking go to Japan for like just a couple months and just slowly etch our way across it, eating sushi and drinking tea. Just all the
ah,
way.
Chase. So I forgot to tell I don't know what your plans are. I know, but me and Muin, I think we've decided we're gonna go to Japan this summer. You know? You want to join us? Austin, you can come too. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm making some money, I'd love to go. If not, then I'll probably be in survival mode again.
Okay, fair enough. But
Yeah.
yeah, Wu Yin has been inspired by some Japanese paintings, so we're gonna go find them. Let me go
Dude,
find them.
if we made $1 million off this, all right, man, let's just fucking take 3 months. We're just gonna just slow get on the trains,
Only a
stay in
million.
nice places,
Only a million. That's it. Elon's getting rid of that every second. You know,
all over. Dude, Japan just feels like they've done everything correctly except having babies. They did everything else right. Yeah.
no babies. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, something to think about. Yeah. All right, we'll call it there, lads. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for listening to the Divine Brothers podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.